Welcome to the Favorites Podcast, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, part of the Action Network. Your Favorites trio is back. I'm Brandon Kravitz, joined by the wonderfully insightful and talented Stuckey and Kendra Middleton. On today's episode, we've got our Plant the Flag game for Week 4. Who are we in on early? A breakdown of the top storylines. And of course, the main event, Evan's Tuesday Primer. We cannot live and breathe without it. An update for the schedule this week. We'll have our typical Thursday show where we lock in our best bets, our Three Musketeers parlay, which I am hearing from production is losing its name because we haven't landed on a winner just yet. But we have no show Sunday night for a recap this week, but we got you covered today and Thursday, and then of course back at it next week for Week 5. Kendra is headed to San Francisco. That's part of the reason we don't have a Sunday night show. You're going to see what could be Mac Jones versus Trevor Lawrence. Who knows? But how excited are you for your trip to the West Coast?
Is it bad that I want it to be Brock Purdy, even if that means that the Jags get their ass beat, just so I don't have to watch Mac Jones?
Yeah, I figured that might be the case.
I would much rather, I would rather lose to the Brock Purdy-led 49ers in a horrible fashion once again, because every time I go watch the 49ers and the Jaguars, that's what happens, than watch Mac Jones at all for any reason, especially if he's going to beat them.
So before we get into any football talk, I think you might be the best person to help us out here. I don't know, Stuckey, how informed you are on the rapture, but apparently that's happening today. My wife informed me of this last night, and I thought, okay, what am I supposed to do with that information? I haven't been raptured yet. I also don't know exactly what that means. So fill us in. I mean, you got the waxing waning moon paid off last night with Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. So if there's some way I can weave this into my Week 4 betting card, let me know. But what am I looking at here? What does this mean? What am I supposed to do with this?
People were so mean to me on the internet about my waxing crescent moon take, and I would like to tell all of you to suck me. Okay, it worked out, and it worked out big time. Anytime there's a waxing crescent moon and the Lions are playing from now on, that's my Jesus Christ. That is my bread and butter. That is what is going on for me. However, I'll see you guys tomorrow. But allegedly the rapture is happening today. I think that this is like the third rapture in my lifetime. People are selling their cars, which, first of all, I don't understand why so many people on the internet are selling their things. Like, if you're getting raptured, you don't need the money. Like, what are you going to do why are you selling your things? Anyways, I watched a 10-minute breakdown that this girl did about what to do when you're raptured. Apparently, don't grab onto things in your house. Don't touch things because it just prevents you from being raptured when you do that. Don't look down because you might get sick. You're supposed to just look up, just go and whatever. There's people online who are like, I'm being raptured tomorrow, and if I am not raptured, I will come online, make an apology video, and get off of the internet forever. I guess like the signs of all of this political crap going on that we're not supposed to be talking about at our jobs is why people think that the rapture is happening. Like I said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm pretty sure this is like the third rapture of my lifetime, but people are selling all of their shit. And I guess 4 o'clock today, if you see people floating, it is the rapture.
Stuckey, you in on this?
No, I don't have time for this nonsense. This is like every year there's this is the end of the world. This is
Y2K.
the real rapture will come when if the Titans actually cover a game. But I found a new obsession, and it's this stuff. It's
Is that a candle?
pink salt. I think it's pronounced Nam Preek Pal. Could be mispronouncing that, but it's Thai chili oil. And
Oh, yeah.
my friends from Chicago brought this one for me this weekend. They came to visit, and like the sandwich shop by them in Chicago puts it on all their breakfast sandwiches. Oh my God, I made egg sandwiches on like fresh carved out roll the past 2 days, and then just drenched the roll in this. It is
I have a life hack for you.
unbelievable.
I do this with pesto too. Just take like a teaspoon of it and put it in your pan and then crack your egg in it. And the egg cooks in that oil and it like submerses itself in it. And that way you have like the spicy eggs for your breakfast sandwiches and it doesn't drip off because the egg cooked in it. It's so good.
That's a good idea. I'll try that
That's great.
tomorrow. Yeah, so look at it's called you just Google. We're not sponsored by this, but if they want to sponsor us, I would. Uh just Google pink salt and then Nam Nam Preek, I think is Prik and then Pao Pao. It's Thai roasted chili jam. Oh, it's like the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had.
This
Uh
he's had, but we can't get him to try Zaxby's sauce.
Hey,
yeah,
he tried. Don't put that evil
I
on
did. I
him.
tried to do it. I blame
They
Zach
screwed
for
him.
customer service. That's a Chick-fil-A wouldn't have forgot my sauce. Chick-fil-A won the best chicken sandwich. Do you see that?
That doesn't surprise me.
Who was awarding this?
The American Chicken Association. I don't even know if that's a thing. Um, let's see. I just read it. Uh,
Maybe we are being raptured. The Christian chicken sandwich got voted the best chicken sandwich, and now they're never going to have another contest because we're all going to be raptured.
So one question I have to go back to the Rapture for a moment. We'll get to our picks in a minute. Is this like a crack in the ground that you fall into, or am
No,
I
you go
getting
up.
sucked up?
You go up.
Gotcha.
That's why the girl was saying you like shouldn't look down. Like you just stare up the whole time. Imagine getting raptured and getting like motion sickness and just like throwing up everything below you.
Doesn't sound that bad. I
the
imagine
Yelp
you're
report.
going to the you're going to the better place. That's the idea of this.
I guess if that's your idea of the better place, I still want to smoke darts with Satan.
Well, I mean, like, are you going to the moon, or is this like a spiritual thing?
I don't know. I don't know. I grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, and this is my third rapture, and I still don't know.
Okay. Sponsored by Elon Musk and his new space cadets, I guess. All right. Well, hey, what do you say we move on to the main dish? Some news across the league. Monday Night Football was electric. 28 points scored in the first half alone, 68 total. The Lions win by 8 on the road against Baltimore. 4 touchdowns for the Lions running backs, 2 apiece for Gibbs and David Montgomery. The props were propping last night across the board. But is Derrick Henry broken? I mean, this is now 2 times this year where he has, it's not him alone, the defense has issues, but where he has cost this team mightily with a big time fumble. Stuckey, you're a Ravens fan. How did you compute what happened last night?
Yeah, the Ravens just right now they're not the same team as they will be when they're fully healthy. They're missing like number one, their offense isn't humming as it usually does. They're just not as efficient. There's still some explosiveness. It's still Lamar, but the guards are struggling. Voorhees is really struggling. So the offensive line is not great. I did think the Lions, I was really impressed with the Lions' defensive game plan and how they rushed and spied Lamar. It differed a lot from the first time these two teams played 2 years ago. But they don't have Likely and Ricard. And when they have Likely, that's how they create so many mismatches and heavy formations. And you have Likely and Andrews out there, and then Ricard, and then you could do so many things that teams aren't used to seeing. And they might get Likely back, but this week, but they just aren't at full strength, and their offensive line in the interior of both guard positions is really struggling, which you're seeing on just a drive by drive efficiency basis. And on the defensive end, they really miss Matabuke in the middle. Like they have allowed going into last night. It's going to get worse now. They've allowed 2 yards more per carry without him on the field. He's also their best interior pass rusher. So that's how you beat the Lions. You get interior pressure. The Ravens can't really get interior pressure now without Matabuke, and their run defense is much worse. You saw that throughout the night. So the Ravens have to get a lot healthier because they're missing that key cog in the middle of their defense who does so much, not only on against the run, but on late downs and then on offense. They just don't have their full complement of weapons in addition to the offensive line struggling. So yeah, it's a Ravens team that's far from peak right now. So impressive road win for the Lions.
My big issue last
Is
night
Henry
was
broken? No, I mean it's probably just fluky, but it's crazy that it's happened. He's fumbled
Yeah.
all three
yeah,
games.
3 in a row. Yeah. And that's just not he's not a running back that fumbles, so it is a question of, is he broken? I think my big issue last night was just Todd Monken in general. I don't think that it was the best game for him. I think that they've definitely gotten away from their bread and butter and what we as consumers and fans know to be Ravens football over the last 25 years. And Lamar Jackson just it looked like he was trying not to run or be traditional Lamar Jackson last night. He took way too long to look downfield, way too long to make decisions, held onto the ball way too long. There were times where I was screaming at my TV, just go, just run, just be Lamar Jackson, be that guy, stop looking downfield. It felt like Todd Monken got away from the football that we know that the Ravens play, and that was their biggest issue. There were times I was genuinely screaming at Lamar through my TV, and they passed way too much. I get that Derrick Henry has been having, fumble problems, but he despite that, he's still been the Derrick Henry that we know. That man does not age. And Lamar, you are the best dual threat quarterback in the league. Use your legs. When it looks like you need to run, run. You know better than anybody else. Just it felt like they got away from what we know Ravens football to be, and that it was them shooting themselves in the foot. I can take the injury thing. I get that, but they were in that game from start to finish, and there's nobody to blame but themselves for that loss. The Lions played lights out. Their run game gave them fits. The defense absolutely did their job. Was it 6 sacks, 7 sacks at the end of the night?
7.
Did their job, but still they were in that game, and there was no excuse other than themselves on offense shooting themselves in the foot.
Aiden
Lamar had a
Hutchinson
bad
he makes such a big difference on that Lions defense. But I mean, Lamar passing wise was terrific, but in terms of actually managing the game, he got Mark Andrews back involved. He had a total of 7 yards entering last night, ends up with 96 and 2 touchdowns. One of those was just kind of garbage time at the end of the game. But I don't want to get too far ahead here, but we are very much a show and a people's of looking ahead, not behind. Always want to do a quick recap, especially when you have a game that's that exciting. But this is about what's next. The Ravens have a big one on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs. They are road favorites against a Chiefs team that, while it was against the Giants, feels like they found themselves at least slightly on offense. Mahomes' deep ball was cooking again. Early read, Kendra, on that game. Have you placed any bets on it? What are you thinking early on? I want to be on the Chiefs, but I hate fading a Ravens team off of a loss like this.
I was gonna say, I know you guys love the angle of a Mahomes like home dog, whatever situation, but I'm probably gonna be on the Ravens once again this week, just because once they're coming off of a loss. I don't really care that they're on the road. I hate to fade them in that situation, but it's more so just I'm watching this Chiefs team and I think that they suck. The Giants, they didn't beat the Giants. The Giants beat the Giants. Okay, like Russell Wilson, hot garbage ass. Okay, this has to be the game. We can talk about the Giants later, but it has to be Jackson's start from here. But it's just the Ravens coming off of this loss. I think they're going to be out for blood. I don't think Derrick Henry can fumble 4 games in a row. The Chiefs don't look good. They don't look like the Chiefs we know them to be. I'm out on the Patrick Mahomes home dog. The Chiefs are injured. Sure, the Ravens are also injured, but that team is just so much more depth across the board. I can't. The Chiefs are just not themselves, and I'm not going to back them until they convince me that they are the team that they have been for the last 5, 6, 7 years. And the Ravens can be, and I think that they are more likely to fix their issues in this scenario than the Chiefs not even being able to really beat the Giants how I would like them to beat the Giants for me to be convinced to put my hard-earned dollar on them this week.
Stuckey, if the Chiefs can run the football, which they haven't been great at this year, against this Ravens team, and Mahomes feels comfortable, that is the Mahomes Chiefs dog that I want to be in on. We know the defense is going to show up. I'm kind of stuck in the middle here. Where do you stand early on this game?
No, I want no interest of the Chiefs. I mean, I thought the Chiefs looked awful again. I mean, look, they averaged 4 yards per play against the Giants. The Giants and the Chiefs both averaged 4 yards per play on Sunday. The Giants did have a kicker, which cost them like, I don't know, 6 points. And they were down. They were at the goal line. They could have had another touchdown. Yeah, I mean, Mahomes completed 2 balls downfield, but you got to remember, no kicker. Andrew Thomas didn't play the second half, and Russell Wilson was just throwing it into the end zone. This Chiefs just throwing it into the tunnel at the end of the game. I don't know what he was doing. So I wasn't overly impressed with the Chiefs. I know Chris Collinsworth was just drooling all over.
Ugh, doing
Oh,
tricks on it.
Mahomes also threw it backwards twice, just like
That was crazy.
overdue.
That throw to Pacheco
Uh,
is that was he just doesn't. That's what I was saying last week. He doesn't seem like the same guy. It felt
that could have
like
been two Giants touchdowns,
yeah.
and which would have swung the whole game. I mean, they also won the turnover battle 2-0. The Giants went 1 of 4 on fourth down. They didn't have a kicker, and it was kind of a game. So,
Wait, I
um,
have a question. Since we are getting raptured, do we just put fuck it money everywhere this week? Like, do we go balls to the wall because money doesn't matter? We're getting raptured.
Well, people are selling stuff, so I don't know that
but
everybody
it doesn't
really
even matter. It's
understands
that
the
we're getting
purpose here.
raptured. There's no need to even place it bet. There's
If
no
I
need
don't
to
get
post
raptured,
podcast.
I still want a bankroll. So I'm not ready to make that sort of commitment.
But no, I can't back the Chiefs here. But the Ravens have issues, like I said. I don't know if it's like their defense this week, unlike last week, though, you can provide help because when you're playing the Lions, they can spread you out. They have really good receivers. But here, the Chiefs' run game isn't as good. They don't have, Gibbs and Montgomery, and their receivers aren't as good. We'll see if Worthy can go. But this Chiefs offense is just like even the loss of Matabuke isn't as great this week as it was last week, and this Chiefs back end on the defense still has issues. Um, so that I think Lamar can exploit, but uh, I'll tell you, the Chiefs are probably going to look at a lot of what the Lions did defensively last week. The key to me, there's two keys: is Worthy back? He's just so huge for the Chiefs offense, and is likely back for the Ravens. And then, if so, how healthy are they, and in what capacity? But both of those pieces are really important. But yeah, I want no part of the Chiefs as of right now, 2.5. I will say this game is huge because this is essentially a one seed elimination game. Because you look at the Bills' schedule. The Ravens already have a loss to the Bills. If they lose to the Chiefs, I, I don't see them getting the one seed, which is uber important. And if the Chiefs fall to 1-3, I don't see them finding. I mean, maybe they could beat the Bills head to head. That'll help make up the gap. But this game is big for playoff positioning. The teams that coming into the season thought they were going to get a one seed, they don't win this game, and then it's you're going to have a tougher path in the playoffs.
At the end of the day, I think we're looking at the difference being the Ravens can clean up the issues that they had last night. The Chiefs cannot make up for the lack of talent and the injuries in comparison to the Ravens right now. That's what I'm looking at. Like the Ravens can limit the turnovers. They can have Lamar get the ball out quicker. They can change their offensive plan a little bit. The Chiefs cannot get over the lack of talent issue that they're having right now.
It's still a team that you need to downgrade at least slightly, just in the fact that they're coming off of a Monday Night Football game where they just got beat up by the Detroit Lions. So there is that also, that the Ravens are at a scheduled disadvantage here, not just being on the road, but I think even more importantly coming off of that Monday night game. It sounds to me like we're all on a holding pattern with this one, so we'll put that to the side till Thursday.
Yeah, by the way, the Eagles were just -1.5 in Kansas City. I mean, I have the Ravens 3 points better than the Eagles, so now they're not at 100% full strength, but neither is Kansas City. So I would, in order to entertain the Chiefs, I would need at least 3, but definitely not at 2.5.
I don't think this ever touches 3. Do you?
I could see it. Let's see. There is.
It looks like 2.5s across the board.
Yeah, but they're semi-juiced. There's like -2.5, -120. So I could see it touching 3. It'll depend on injury reports, and there'll probably be some buy on Kansas City at 3, but we'll be monitoring. We'll talk more on Thursday about it.
Yeah, I'll be one of the buyers when that touches the 3. Monday Night Football in the books. Let's move on to Vikings Steelers. Leave for Dublin on Thursday after practice. So I did a little digging to see both of the travel schedules here, Kendra, to see if we had any sort of an edge on who lands in Dublin first. They both leave Thursday after practice, so I don't know who's going to land first, but they're not going to land too far apart from one another.
I think that's so dumb.
I know we don't. I don't know that does it still matter if it's like 15 minutes apart? Is
No.
it just okay? It has to be.
No.
We're talking hours, days.
Yeah, Yeah, because there
difference?
actually is data. I don't know if Evan wound up looking into it or not, but I remember specifically the last couple of years there being a difference between people who would leave pretty much, Monday or Tuesday, and then the people who would follow the Thursday schedule and leave. There definitely was a significant advantage in the team who got there earlier. And I even look back at like I said, Jags fan. I've been through this quite a few times. Jags got their absolute ass beat by the Bears in their first game last year, stayed, played a second game across the way in London against the Patriots last year and waxed the Patriots. The time advantage definitely helps you. I don't, like I said, I don't know if Evan looked into it. I should have probably done more research, but as someone who has suffered through these London games for quite some time now and pays attention to all of them, there is an advantage to getting there earlier and adjusting.
Well, and there's definitely an advantage to staying there. I think the
Yeah.
bigger advantage isn't so much about this week on Minnesota or Pittsburgh, but the Vikings play the Browns in London next week in week 5. Teams that stay overseas have a massive advantage. The Jags are the only team to have done it. To go back to back overseas. They are 2-0 straight up, 2-0 against the spread. You just mentioned getting waxed in games prior and then turning right around because they stay there. So perhaps I wish the Vikings were playing a better team than Cleveland, where we have a tighter number because they're going to be pretty heavy favorites against the Browns. But I would still look early on at targeting the Vikings in week 5. That's probably the best. I know we're talking about week 4, but I think the best angle to look at here is Vikings week 5.
100%. Not even a question in my mind. Do we have a number on that already?
For the Vikings Browns.
It looks like it's 6.5, 7 right now. I don't love
mean,
that.
it's not gonna
I don't
get
love
much
that.
lower than that. If
I
the
don't
the Browns would have to beat the Lions, and I don't see them going back to
know.
back like that against the AFC North.
Yeah, but if the Vikings go back, I'm not laying 7 with JJ McCarthy. I mean, I don't think I want to lay 7 with JJ McCarthy or Carson Wentz, but that sounds like a pay against that Browns front.
That'll be a no-go from me, big dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wish they were playing a team that was good enough to where the Vikings would be a dog. We'd be all over the Minnesota Vikings in that spot.
Tough looks.
Yes, exactly. The injuries are piling up, folks. Nick Bosa done for the year. He's out. San Francisco, he's got an ACL injury. CeeDee Lamb is out multiple weeks. He's definitely going to miss against the Green Bay Packers. Jerry Jones is talking about putting him on IR. James
That's crazy.
Conner,
Because he said that
what?
he could even potentially play this week if he wanted to. CD did. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big gap in
Can
play
Jerry
this
Jones
week.
just
Take a
shut the
month off.
fuck up? God,
Well,
I'm so sick of him.
we've already seen that line moved pretty drastically. It was 5.5, 4.5, 5. It was somewhere between 4 and 5 at open, but quickly got bet up to Packers -6. Right after the news came out about CeeDee Lamb, it popped 6.5, and now you see 7s pretty much across the board. James Conner's also done with a severe ankle injury. He's out for the year. Fire up Trey Benson stock, and Najee Harris is done with an Achilles. So I assume as far as this goes, Nick Bosa would definitely move a line. CeeDee Lamb feels like the most drastic of all of these as far as where we would be leaning towards one side or the other based on these injuries that we see. I would have probably wanted to be on Dallas this week against Green Bay, but I don't think you can touch it without CeeDee Lamb. Stuckey, we saw what that looked like when he left the game. The team couldn't move the ball consistently.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's still get 7. We're getting up there. It's getting. I mean, I could not bet the Packers. It's only the Cowboys at that price,
Right.
but that was that was one of their biggest like their biggest strengths of their team is their wide receiver room, and their offense is going to have to make up for their defense, which is atrocious. So yeah, and you're getting the Packers salty off of a loss. Parsons revenge game. I'm sure he's going to be firing out of a cannon. So
Do we have
yeah,
Parsons? Do we have
Yeah, what are his
Parsons
props
sack
at?
props? Yeah,
Yeah.
probably
that's
not
probably
yet.
over
Probably
half a sack is going to
disgusting
be.
prices.
That's going to be at least -200.
I'd
Yeah,
hit the 2.
everyone's going to be betting that. It's be like minus
Yeah.
800. Minus 800 for over a 1.5 sacks. But yeah, the Bosa one's big. The 49ers are a stars and scrubs team. Like,
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
talk about that game because obviously we don't have the news about Mac Jones and Brock Purdy yet. It's sitting at the Jags getting 3.5. Do we think that this value is going to get any better or any worse? Because obviously Purdy was pretty close to allegedly being back this week. I think that if he plays, obviously this number gets better if you like the Jags, but I think that we probably, if you have any likes or leans, this is maybe where you have to make some value decisions and make them quickly, especially with Bosa out.
I'm sitting this conversation out because this is my plant the flag game. So go ahead,
Yeah,
Stuckey.
I would think it goes to 3 if it's Mac Jones, and then it ticks back up to 4.5 if it's Purdy. I could be wrong, but the Bosa loss is big. Like that defense, they that all the attention that he draws then opens up things for your other pass rushers. So the trickle down effect is no longer there because overall, if you look at this defense, it's not an overly talented unit. And so yeah, I think that the Jags are definitely going to benefit from that. So we'll see. We'll talk more about that on Brandon's
Yeah,
plan his
I'm
flag game. But yeah, the Bosa and the Lamb ones are obviously pretty big. The James Conner, it's unfortunate, but I don't think it really impacts the Cardinals that much. They have good running back depth, and it's still at the end of the day, it's a running back. Uh, so that's not too impactful, other than just impacting your depth. But yeah, Cowboys are in trouble if Lamb is out long term
I
because
think the
coming into the year it was like Lamb and Parsons. Let's rely on those two.
right, right.
Now we don't have either.
Exactly. No, it's all on Dak and a resurgent Javonte Williams. I think the Packers are a great teaser leg. I already took them down to half a point. And I paired that with the Denver Broncos on Monday night down to a point against the Cincinnati Bengals. Bo Nix as a teaser leg has been, I think he's been the most profitable teaser candidate over the last year. So
Not
them
Bo
on
Nix. It's the Broncos defense.
was but it's
yeah.
Bo Nix will
since
miss
Bo
4 wide
arrived.
open touchdowns.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's why you have to buy the points with if you're going to bet Bo Nix. So let's take a look at the ATS standings report as it stands right now. Only two 3-0 teams remain against the spread: the Indianapolis Colts and the LA Chargers. The Chargers one is debatable because that line sat at 2.5. I think it hit a 3 at some point before kickoff. Unfortunately, I wasn't patient enough on that, and I took the L on the Denver Broncos. Speaking of Bo Nix, by the points, ladies and gentlemen. But the Saints, Broncos, and Texans are the only three not to cover the number yet. The big question of all of this is it time, finally, to fade the Indianapolis Colts? They finally play a real football team in the LA Rams this week. We're waiting for this opportunity, but damn, this team is impressive. So is anybody willing to do it, to fade the Indianapolis Colts as an undefeated ATS team?
I think I potentially might get there just because the Rams are healthy. Outside of if you want to consider the Matthew Stafford back thing an issue, which he's older, I think it's something you definitely have to look at. But I do think that this is the week that the Colts get got. I'm not going to say they're going to turn back into a pumpkin because I do think that they're actually a legit team at this point. I don't know why I feel that way. I know when we first started this show, I was talking about how they draft well. It's just been the coaching, not be able to put the pieces together for them. But I just think that this Rams team is just all class. They're as healthy as they can be. They're the healthiest they're going to be all season. The Rams are legit, man. They were one of my favorites heading into the season, one of my sleeper picks to, make a deep playoff run. Not that that's really even a sleeper. It's just the NFC's not, the NFC's not the AFC right now. A couple years ago, you would have gotten me to say otherwise, but I don't know. They haven't played any great opponents so far. Their game this week was just a heartbreaker.
I'll see I'm curious how they bounce back after that. But yeah, I would love a 3. That's what hopefully there's a lot of Colts love in the market. And we can at some point get a 3. That's what I'll be waiting for all week. They might get a Vila back, so they could be 100% healthy this week. But yeah, I've been impressed with the Colts, especially against the Broncos at home in that defense, because like the Broncos, the Rams can get pressure. And Daniel Jones historically has struggled against pressure, but against the Broncos, they were able to move it and they carved up that defense. But yeah, if I can get a 3, I'm definitely in on the Rams here. But because we have to keep in mind the Colts, it's only 3 games, and 2 of them have come against the Titans with 5 starters out, and the Dolphins, who didn't even get off the bus in week 1. And then their one win came against the Broncos because of a leaping penalty. By the way, you could have called it on the Eagles on that field goal block, but of course they didn't. So like they could easily be 2-1, still looking good, but the conversation would be a lot different if they're 2-1 with wins over the Titans and the Dolphins, who have yet to win a game. And yeah, the Titans, by the way, are just I, I don't even want to talk about that game this week, but they're 3-17 against the spread over the past 20.
I bet them. I took it to 7.5.
I mean,
I'm not even gonna suggest it, but the number
I
is
think at 7.5, it's them or nothing.
that's right.
Just because the Texans probably don't deserve to be laying 7.5
That's exactly
against
it. This
anyone
is
to
a
win
bet.
by margin.
Exactly. It's a bet against the Texans, and unfortunately, the Titans are the side on the other
I
side of
think
that.
you might be right. I hate to say it, but it's a divisional game.
The Texans have
Oh,
been terrible. Why
I
shouldn't be
know.
laying a seven and I get
I
the hook?
know.
And I got it at minus 110. That number's gone now, which does make me feel good about the wager, at least at this juncture in the week. I'm sure I'll feel differently when we're into the second quarter on Sunday, but I feel like it was a bet that had to be
Yeah,
made,
you feel
even though
good
the
about that
Titans.
now. I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
I think I'm 0-11 betting Titans games when I beat the close over the last 2 years. Sometimes by like 3 points. So
Right.
um, the Titans will find a way. Callahan, he's got to go. Did you hear the fire Callahan chants in the stands
Oh
at the
yeah.
end of the half? It's
Can
very
we
He
talk?
might beat Mike McDaniel to the punch. Who knows?
Yeah. Can we talk about how dumb that CJ Stroud and Caleb Williams conversation looks like after their game when he goes up to him and he's like, fix your mistakes. This league's too hard, blah 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 blah. CJ Stroud giving Caleb Williams all this advice. And it's like you look real dumb now. You look real dumb right now.
Yeah, Stroud's got to he's got to figure it out, but he's getting no help around him.
He's
But
becoming more and more unlikable to me. His rookie season, I loved him, and I hate the Texans more than any other team or fan base, but he is becoming more and more unlikable rather quickly, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's not handling the losing press conference well to this point. By the way, I have a damning stat on the Indianapolis Colts. This will make you want to fade them quickly. This is I found a graph on how often do NFL defenses allow a new series of downs. The dead last team in the NFL is the Indianapolis Colts. 78% of the time, their defense allows a new series of downs. The best team in the NFL is the Green Bay Packers, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Broncos, just for a frame of reference. Those are the best defenses in the league. The Colts are dead last. And look who they've played. I do wonder if some of that is just because they've been blowing some teams out and garbage time maybe has baked into that a little bit, but still that they're down there with the Cowboys, Bengals, Dolphins, and Steelers, and this is an undefeated team that's
they
also
can't get any
undefeated against the
pressure.
spread.
They're not getting any pressure. That's bad. I mean, the Titans were moving the ball on them a bit. The Broncos shredded them. You can't get shredded by the Broncos offense. And the Dolphins were they were in a daze. But yeah, their defense isn't great. It's better because it's not Gus Bradley, but it's still not an elite unit for sure. So their offense has to keep up this pace. So
I flashed the bat signal early this morning because I saw this line out there for the Bills and the Saints. It's up to 16 and a half. And I thought, how often do you see a number that big this early on in the season? So we're talking about the September, really early October portion of the season. And I looked back, I did my own research, couldn't find anything, but threw the bat signal up there. And Evan Abrams hit me back with this one. The biggest week 1 through 4 spread that we have seen is this one. Bills favored by 16 and a half. Since 2021, it was also a Bills game at home against the Houston Texans where the Bills were favored by 17. They won that game 40-0. This is also the largest the Saints have been an underdog since 1975, which is shocking to me because they've had some bad teams since 1975. Anybody willing to lay the lumber on the Buffalo Bills?
Absolutely not.
no, I'm not like 16 and a half in an NFL game. Although I think historically favorites of over 2 touchdowns. Evan can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're like 500 against the spread, but that Josh Allen is 6-9-2 against the spread when favored by more than 10. We just saw them favored by 11 and a half at home against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins easily covered. Like, if this gets to 17, I might have to think about the Saints. The Saints weren't that bad last week. Like, their special teams were a disaster, but like success rate, yards, they were pretty even with the Seahawks, and they've looked like functional. And this Bills team is not the team that you want to lay 17 with in this spot. Like they're gonna take the air out of the ball. They're gonna run it a ton.
They're gonna
Clock's
kill
gonna be
clock.
moving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stay
like
healthy,
they're
kill
not gonna run
clock.
Allen. So yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, stay healthy, kill clock. Is there any team right now in the NFL that's like an absolute world beater to you guys? I know that the conversation was the Packers last week. Like, I don't think anybody is like a bona fide favorite right now. Everybody's flawed.
Well, I would agree with that. The
Yeah, so
Bills certainly
it's a
don't
wide
look
open year.
perfect.
I think Packers might be the best team in the NFC when they're healthy. Like their offensive line got dominated last week because of their injuries, uh, but they're not like head and shoulders above everyone else. I think the Ravens are the best team in the NFC when they're fully healthy, but they're obviously beatable. So
Lamar
yeah,
can't
it's
win
a
big
wide
games. I
open
don't
year.
know what it is.
It's
Yeah.
wide open. Lot of parity in the NFL. But for what it's worth, dogs off a 30-point plus loss. Like who wants to bet an underdog, which means they're playing a better team after a 30 plus point loss. 115, 77, and 8 against the spread over the past 25 years. That's 60%. This week, you got three of them. You got the Saints, the Falcons, and the Bengals. So historically, it's been a good bet. Teams off a 30 plus point loss. Bet them the next week.
I'm softening a little bit on the Falcons idea. The other two,
I
no
thought we
thanks.
were in bet jail with the Falcons.
Well, I just said I'm softening. They're still behind. They're still behind
I played
the
Falcons.
rails here.
Whenever
I'm
you
gonna
want to put
tell
a
you
team in
guys-
bet jail, that's the time to bet them. Besides,
I'm in Lad McConkey bet jail, but I'm gonna tell you guys he's gonna score this week. If you faded me last week, this is your time. I'm gonna preface this. I'm going to be so hee hee ha ha silly with my picks this week when we finally roll around to Thursday. I'm just letting you guys know I am going off the rails.
It's already
Can't
that
wait.
time of the year.
That's my tease. I'm going to be insane.
The Evan has shared the stat 50. So favorites of over 14 points, 53, 52, and 3 against the spread in essential coin flip. So we are all staying away from
17,
the
I'd probably
Saints.
take the Saints though. So I hope
Okay.
it's there.
I don't hate
16
that
and a
look.
half. Let's talk to the professor of pickles here, Kendra Middleton. What is the game that has you all torn up? Your pickle game of the week.
You already know that it's going to be the battle of the P words. It's the Panthers and the Patriots. With the way that the number is looking, I get that the Panthers are not a 30-point shutout win team against absolutely anybody, but I think they're finding their rhythm right now. All right. What is going on with Christian Gonzalez?
You tell us.
Yeah,
You're
you
in the
can do it
area.
all. That's your job.
I know. I think that do they sit him this? Okay, here's my thing, and I'm between this like everybody else. I told you guys that the local media is kind of saying that they are thinking that it's going to be the Bills game. If you're a head coach, which obviously none of us are, unless you guys coach like high school or something that I don't know about, would you rather start Christian Gonzalez in a game against the Panthers to maybe let him warm up, take, 20, 30% of the reps on defense? Or would you rather just let him sit one more week and throw him out there against Buffalo?
Yeah, I'd rather him come back this week.
Yeah,
Especially
they
since
don't-
I got the Patriots.
You
But
can't-
yeah, you want to get them into the mix before a much tougher opponent.
Absolutely. And it's not like anybody's a pushover to the New England Patriots. They can't look at their schedule that way.
I think that this number is too big for a
It's
Patriots
crazy.
team. That sucks. I think that I have to back the sad cats, you guys.
I don't understand what's happening. So I do my own numbers just to, get a framework of what we're looking at for the week. And this is the most off-market game for me. I have the Patriots as a 1-point favorite. So I don't know.
Wow.
What am I
You
missing?
might want to relook at those numbers.
Well, exactly. Like I don't. Everything else is sort of where it should be. Or we're in range. That one, I don't know where I have gone astray with this or what I'm missing, but it's too off for me to bet it because obviously I need to get back in the lab with that. But this Patriots team should not be a 5.5-point favorite, just common sense wise. And then the numbers is something's
And
off.
if Gonzalez comes back, that number is probably only going to get better.
Yeah, it's going to go up to 6.5.
Where do you
I bet the
have it,
Patriots
Stuckey?
this week. I bet the Patriots. If you're curious, underdogs that just won a game by a shutout are 35% against the spread historically. The Panthers still stink. Penix just had a game where he was awful and he couldn't complete a pass. Like they didn't do anything. They were just playing their basic cover three. Penix just couldn't read the defense. There was miscommunication issues. I mean, the Panthers got outgained by 100 yards. Their defense still stinks. They have offensive line injuries. The Patriots are going to dominate them up front. They're not going to be able to run the ball, especially if they get Gonzalez back. How are they moving the ball? I don't know. The Patriots don't have a problem moving the ball. They've moved the
But
ball.
5.5.
They moved the ball every single game this year, up and down the field. Like last week, they played that game 9 out of 10 times. They beat the Steelers by 20. If they don't fumble, they turned it over 5 times. They fumbled at the goal line twice. And this Panthers defense is wretched. That one game doesn't change my thoughts on that. Their offensive line was supposed to be their strength, is now missing multiple starters. The loss of Hunt is huge, and the Patriots front's been really good. So they're not going to run it. And then Young's gonna be under pressure. He's probably gonna make mistakes. So yeah, I like the Patriots. I like the Patriots to win by margin this week. Not my plant the flag game, but I am on it.
If the Panthers cover this with ease, I'm never doubting my power ratings again. But for right now, I'm gonna doubt my power ratings.
Vrabel doesn't lose games like this. I'll say that, like to bad teams. Like I get that the Steelers they're not a good team, but they're not the Panthers. That's the only lean that I have in this game, Patriots wise, is that Vrabel beats bad teams. Even though
You're the Patriots worse than the Panthers? That's insane.
I don't know. I don't have the Patriots worse than the Panthers.
No, not you. Brandon. Brandon only
game.
has this. No, I'm talking about Brandon has
I was like
1 point spread. That's
Frank May kind of looks like ass. Dude, they're not targeting Stephon Diggs at all.
I have the Panthers as 1 point better than the New England Patriots.
That's insane. In market, I mean, even going into
that's without home field or anything like any other factors, just power ratings wise.
It's in market. I think even going into the last week, there it's like a 4.5 point difference. Vrabel is 28-11 straight up against teams under 500 to
he beats bad teams. That's one thing that I will give him.
All right, are we planting our flags?
Yeah, we're planting the flag. Okay. I'm gonna get it started. 49ers -3.5. Already kind of teased this one. I got it at -105. This might touch 3. I'm gonna take the gamble here that Purdy plays. We'll see this number tick up by a couple of points, but it's a fade against the Jags. They've got wins over the Panthers, who I'm clearly off on, and the Houston Texans.
Hey, you just told me how good the Panthers are.
No. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's a good win.
Get him, Stuckey. Get his ass.
If I say the Panthers are better than the Patriots and you like them in New England, then
yeah,
garbage win.
My numbers are not gospel.
Well, we know that.
It's Rapture Day.
I'm going back to the lab on the Panthers because I think
what's bad when it fits your narrative.
I think, yeah, well, that's definitely true. But I think I have overrated them. I don't make the numbers off of subjectivity. This is a formula, and clearly the formula has overrated a 30-point win. Besides that, the Jags defense has been great, but this is going to be their biggest test of the season. They rank second to last in receiving grade, big shocker there, and then dead last in special teams. We see how important special teams are early on in the season. A chance that Purdy plays, this number ticking up. I'm going to plant the flag on the 49ers now, and I'm even willing to lay the hook at 3.5.
I'll tell you, the 49ers have had the Jags number for years and years, so I am flying across the country for this, but I don't hate it.
I don't think I can lay 3.5 with this 49ers team. I mean, you talk about the Jags resume. The 49ers are 3-0. They have wins over Seattle in a coin flip game, New Orleans in a coin flip game, and then Arizona in a game they probably should have lost. So like
Seattle's looking pretty good.
They've won by 4, 5, and 1. So like this isn't a team that and now there's no Bosa. So I'll be curious to see. Maybe they get Purdy and maybe they get Jennings back.
Can I say something crazy?
Yeah.
I think I like them more if Mac Jones is playing.
Well, if you get a 3, you might get a 3 in that game.
No, yeah, I think that they're more likely to win this game if Mac is playing just because Purdy's hurt.
Purdy might not be 100%. He might not be able to drive.
Mac's been playing lights out, a revenge game from him against his hometown. Like, what are we even doing here?
I mean, obviously, I'm still comfortable with the 49ers if Jones plays, but I'd rather have Purdy out there. I think we're forgetting how good
even with like the claw toe.
Yeah.
I don't
Clauto and
know.
all. All right.
Plato McGee over here.
What about you, Kendra? Where are you planting the flag?
You alluded to it, teased it a little bit. I'm going with the Seahawks. This line is wrong. It's Seahawks or nothing for me this week. Probably going to be my biggest play. The Cardinals are bad. People are sleeping on the Seahawks. Yes, they lost to the 49ers, but they were still as healthy as they were going to be at that point for the season. Beat the bag out of the Steelers, beat the bag out of the Saints. Steelers and Saints both bad, but I think that the Saints and the Steelers are both equivalent to the Cardinals. Cardinals got injury issues. Seahawks are better than people are giving them credit for. I think that this is a real team to reckon with out west. I'm going with the Seahawks this week. No questions asked.
Yeah, great teaser leg too. Kick them up to
there's a lot. Just people listening on Thursday. There's a lot of injuries and look for them both sides. Cardinals secondary, Seahawks secondary. There's a couple others too. So keep your eye out there because the Seahawks, a bunch of their defenders didn't play on Sunday, and then the Cardinals as well. So we'll see who goes. It seems like an overreaction. I mean, coming into the year, though, we've all said like we're out on the Seahawks. People were saying the Cardinals are a sleeper, and like if you look at their resumes, like they've pretty much played to what we expected. But should be a good one on Thursday night. Injuries are going to be big to watch in the secondaries there. I'll plant my flag on the only games I played so far. I played the Falcons, but there's probably no threes left. Are there any threes left? I doubt it.
Just 2.5.
Yeah, I still would play the Falcons at 2.5, but obviously not as big. But I mean, the Commander, who knows if Daniel's going to play? Who knows how healthy he is? I don't like this Commanders team this year anyway. But they have their entire secondary got hurt last week. McLaurin got hurt. They lost. I think they have like 4 or 5 starters on IR. They signed Darnell Savage, who just got cut by the Jaguars, and he's probably going to start for them. Lattimore looks washed. I think
Darnell Savage sucks.
This is the trifecta. It was a team off of the Falcons had a misleading box score loss. They are off of a shutout. Teams, and then they were off of a 30-point loss. So underdogs off of after getting shut out, 62% historically. Dogs off a 30-plus point loss, 60% historically. Huge sample size. But I'll plant my flag on the Bengals plus 7.5. There's still some 7.5s out there. I think minus 115. Look, we said last week, and the Bengals, by the way, fit this off of a dog off a 30-plus point loss. We said last week that I made the difference between, and this is one of the reasons I kind of like the Vikings. I didn't end up playing it, but I made the difference between Burrow and Browning 5 points. Market seemed to have made it like 3, 3.5, 4. I thought that was too short. It looks like I was probably right. It's probably closer to 5.5 points. Okay. Well, coming into the year, you can go back to week 16 last year when these two teams played. The Bengals defense still awful. Burrow was playing. The Bengals, both teams needed the game. We're trying. The Bengals are 3.5 point favorites at home. So power ratings wise, coming into the year, I had the Bengals as the better team when fully healthy. We've seen how bad Bo Nix has been. So I made this game before, if everyone was at full strength in Denver, respect the home field, be like Denver, it'd be like close to a pick. Denver -1 at most. So let's adjust for the drop between Burrow and Browning. I can't get to over 7. Can't get to 7. So you're going to give me over 7. I'm going to take it there. So I get that it's scary playing Browning after another defense that can get pressure. Maybe he makes a ton of mistakes again, but Nick's good too. So I'll plant my flag on. I don't think you're going to see a 7.5 for much of the week leading up into game time. So I'll plant my flag on the Bengals plus 7.5.
All right, Kendra's on Seattle plus 1.5. Stuckey's got the Bengals plus 7.5, and I am on the 49ers minus 3.5 against the Jaguars. Time now for the main event of our Tuesday episode. No betting week can start without it. The primer, courtesy of Evan Abrams. Evan, welcome to the show. What trends are we looking at before we fire away on the apps this week?
What's up, guys? Honestly, I feel like, and Stuckey talks about this all the time, and I'm sorry to keep bringing this up, but the Titans, the numbers are just stupid, and I feel like it's worth noting how bad the ATS stuff has gotten with them. So Stuckey mentioned the 3-17 ATS last 20. but 6-23-1 ATS last 30, 7-25-1 last 33, and losing 10 straight ATS at home, which not this week, but we'll deal with in a week or two. Just absolutely insane. I feel like the other storyline
Is 3-17 over a 20
yeah.
game stretch the worst ever, Evan? Like, I can't
See, I was
imagine.
going to look at that. I've had trouble with spans, but when I had some time, it was going to be the next thing on my mind. So I will get back to you on that one. But I feel like someone has done that before.
Probably a
I just have to
Browns
work on
team
it.
from like the mid
Yeah,
2000s.
something like that. But I feel like it's been done. But the stretch in itself is just stupid, especially when you consider the quarterback play. The Mahomes stuff this week is just a lot of fun. So you guys are talking about the 3-point line. It looks like Baltimore is getting -2.5, -120. So that +3 might be coming, and that would be the largest home dog he has been since Texas Tech. It was
Wow.
Shane Buechel, which was Texas's quarterback back in November of 2016.
You
The
show.
last time he was plus. Yeah, thank you, Stuck. I feel like you were going to do that for me, and I appreciate it. Here's the best one, and I actually just finished looking this up. So he's actually never won as a home dog. 0-9, 0-2 in the pros, 0-7 at Texas Tech. So this would be the first time he's ever won as a home underdog. And the funny thing is, 0-2 straight up as a home dog, 55-12 as a favorite. So maybe something to look at there. The only thing that I think is fun, when Mahomes is either an underdog or a favorite of less than a field goal at home, he is just 4-5 straight up. So in these tight games, Lamar, Josh, there might even be a Tom in there. Difficult opponents. So I felt that one was kind of interesting. I'll give you one more. Dak Prescott. So that line is up to 7 now without CeeDee Lamb. This would be tied for his biggest home underdog of his career. 2018 against the Saints and Drew Brees was the last time he was +7 or higher at home. So interesting line there as it's gone up a few points without CD.
Is there anything, this might be obscure, but the Bucks have won 3 straight games on game-ending drives to seal the victory.
On luck alone.
I mean, is there any, do we have anything
Against 3
really,
awful teams.
Yeah, on doing what you do in the 4th game after doing that 3 in a row? It just feels so unique in what the Bucks have done to get to 3-0.
I'll give you this one. So Bucks are the second team in the wild card era to start 3-0 with 3 fourth quarter comebacks. The most ironic thing about this run, the Bucks are also 0-3 against the fourth quarter spread. So they've not only made the comeback and done the job, but they actually haven't covered in their fourth quarter spreads because of the chaos on the other side. So the only other team in the wild card era since 1990 to do the 3-0 with fourth quarter comebacks, Falcons in 2015, they ended 8-8, 6-10 against the spread and sucked. So this actually might just be a fluke, but again, one team, guys. I mean, nothing like that can be, taken too seriously. But I will say this, Tampa was 13-4 fourth quarter spread last season. So this feels like just something in Baker's blood.
Yeah, Baker's definitely clutched at the end of the games. And to be fair, they have a ton of offensive line injuries. And they're surviving. But 2 of the wins came against the Jets and the Texans in the last second, which doesn't look great. But their offensive line is in shambles, and they're 3-0, so you can't complain too much. And now the Eagles have been extremely lucky too. So this is a luck box bowl.
Evan, you have anything on the Rapture?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Giants and Jets at home. I mean, in primetime again this week, it feels like the Rapture has something to do with that. I put this out 5-34. Giants and Jets in night games. We get the Jets again this week, but maybe the other side of the Rapture is the fact that they have to play the Dolphins. Like maybe that's what the Rapture is you kind of get this matchup and the world just ends at halftime of that game.
And you're talking to us as God right now. If I get raptured, I'm letting you guys rock, paper, scissors for OJ and Monica.
Can't we just split custody? Like I get one, Stuckey gets another one.
Well, yeah, but who wants who? You get one pregnant and one not.
Yeah, I don't want all that responsibility. I'll take the non-impregnated shrimp on my way to heaven, I suppose. Thanks so much,
having mad babies.
Yeah, I already have a pregnant one in my house. I got a dog that's post-surgery, so bring it on.
It's true.
One more.
Yeah, exactly.
Those shrimp hospital bills have to be terrible. So yeah, I'll pass.
All right. It sounds like the Dolphins' first half spread according to the Rapture stats. Thanks so much, Evan. That's going to do it for today's episode. Special thanks to our producers, David Payne and Gifford Gould. The favorites will return with our next episode on Thursday right here on the Action Network YouTube page, where we will talk week 4 bets and make our official plays for the week. We'll see you next time here on the favorites, presented by DraftKings. Let's cash these tickets.
Happy Rapture.